Let's address these rappers. Let's address the rappers predicting their deaths. You have a long line of rappers that predicted their death, down to the T in lyrics and the interviews. You don't think anything is fishy about a whole string of rappers predicting their death? Why is their music headed that way? And I know what you're saying. You know, your words that you speak. Yes, this is true. The words that you speak, you can incur them, and you bring them about. What you speak about, you bring about. Just like what you think about, you bring about. But at the same time, the whole process, when you look at the patterns, it seems a little too Machiavellian to be, truly authentic. You don't hear like back-to-back R&B stars predicting their deaths. And you don't, like other people, athletes, sometimes in instances, Hollywood stars, like regular entertainers, meaning like actors, actresses. There's not so many stories about them predicting their deaths, like in their movies or in their interviews. But with the rappers in particular, they're giving you this very Osirian type of pattern. So is Osirian like you're dying and entering the underworld and then you're being reborn as your own son? This is an occult belief and an occult practice. And ritualistically, it looks like this is being played out on the main stage because there's so many rappers dying that you can call hip hop the Machiavellian deal. And I mean the real Machiavelli, not what Tupac changed his name to, although Tupac is definitely a forerunner of the rappers predicting their death. Because there's also stories going out about rappers not dying. The same way you have to ask yourself this: when celebrities and presidents and, people like that retire, where do they go? Why don't we don't always see them? You know what I mean? Not everybody's, at the Knicks game with Spike Lee. Not every superstar is at the Lakers game with Jack Nicholson. A lot of these stars, they part of their deal, from what I'm hearing and researching, is that they live a new life while their old life dies. Their old life is what they're experiencing on the main stage in front of us all, on the big screen. This is the play. But the audience who watches is also a part of the play. They're just as much a part of the movie as the actors in the movie. What we don't realize is, as the audience, we're participating in the movie. Because, yeah, there's the characters that they play on screen, but also this is a possibility, and this is just based on research. You don't necessarily have to side with this. I'm just saying that this is the information that's out here, and I'm just going to link it up with some other things in a second. But you got the rappers that's, they're saying that they're gonna die, and they're letting you know how. They're almost letting you know when and where, and all like that. And so you have, people being reborn. So you have character changes, like when a rapper falls off and then they come back with a whole nother persona. That's like being born again, but it's a left-hand meaning, like a left-hand path is very Osirian, very Asarish, very underworldish. So the Machiavellian deal, you have the forerunners of the Machiavellian package. Rappers, tons of rappers dying, predicting their own death. It seems like there's more rappers dying than people in the real world when given the publicity. But yeah, you don't see superstars, like actors and actresses necessarily doing this. But just like I said, the person who's playing the roles in the movie, that person is also a character outside of the movie. So when you see them off screen, they're actually still in character based on certain information and research. Allegedly, all of the entertainers are still in character permanently until their contract is up, and then they live their real life when their stardom is over. This is what they call being born again. And like This is what they call being raptured and the disappearing, because this is the left hand meaning of what I believe is in Thessalonians, either first or second Thessalonians, where Paul said, we shall not all die, but we shall be changed, transformed in the twinkling of an eye. Interesting, because if you came up in the church, you was taught to believe that this was the rapture and the return of Christ. But on the left hand meaning, you have a physical 3D rendition of it, which is basically what Satan does as the adversary. He reproduces things in the material form and provides the left hand meaning to it. So he's an agent of God on the left hand side to drag those away who never had a heart for love and hate love. Satan and all the rest of the demons are weapons to drag those particular souls away. So they get dragged from underworld to underworld. So their characters, every time you see them, they're in character. Whether they're on the movie screen or they're doing a speech at someone's college, they're still in character, allegedly, still in character. So when they say that they should not all die, some people will just disappear off of the grand stage, the world stage. They'll simply disappear. They won't die. Even if it's written in the script that they die, that's all a part of the script, because the person who's going in there doesn't even have the name. Some of the actors, their acting name is not their real name. Just like the characters that they play in the movies is not their real name. But off the camera, because the camera's never off of them, as you notice, we'll never see them with the cameras off of them. We'll never see them in an occasion where they're not on camera. Even the paparazzi is planned, because this creates public press in the streets. Another much more organized sign of this is social media.